Today we're outside the World Trade Center and the 9/11 Memorial to interview those walking around the grounds and New Yorkers out on the streets to ask them what they remember about 9/11, how they were affected, and how they're choosing to commemorate or honor the victims who were killed in the terrorist attacks. So, what are your memories from 9/11? And if you don't have any, what do you remember from stories that you've been told?
The only thing I really remember, I was so young when it happened. I think I was in third grade, and I remember the whole school went in lockdown, and we didn't really know what was going on, and we were so young that we didn't really, we could have never really understood, what was going on, except for the fact that we were all supposed to just stay in the classroom.
I remember that day I wasn't home. It was around 8:49 a.m. Around that time was when the first plane hit the North Tower, and I was very impacted when I saw the news in CNN.
So I heard about it on my alarm radio, turned the TV on, saw the towers fell, and dropped to my knees. It was just so shocked.
Yeah.
So we both worked at Washington Mutual Bank at the time, so it really hit close to home as a financial institution, and we just spent the day not knowing what was going on or what to do.
So I was 15. I had just left history class. I was a sophomore in high school, and I went into our morning meeting, and there was a hush over the room, and the teachers looked very somber. We were sitting in the library, and I remember it so clearly because the teacher said, one of your classmates, a good friend of mine, her mother was in one of the towers. She called to tell her husband, the father of my friend, that something was happening and she didn't know if she would make it out.
I was a firefighter working, I was light duty in the deputy chief's office in Soho neighborhood north of here. And I think I was mopping the floor when it happened, actually. And I was ordered to drive a chief down to 7 World Trade Center, and that's where I was assigned as the towers were burning. So we went up to the 23rd floor of 7 World Trade Center. And that was the Office of Emergency Management at that time. And as soon as we got up there, we were told to leave. And as soon as we got to the lobby, the first tower fell down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I do remember it. I was out of the country, and it took me 3 days to get home to New Jersey.
Oh wow.
And I eventually had to take a train from Montreal called the Adirondack, and with all my camera equipment, because I'm a photographer.
I was sitting in I think it was an ASL class. It was bizarre. I was taking it at the time, but I always remember them getting on the loudspeaker and bringing up what had happened. And they told us after the second tower was hit. And I always just remember everyone being scared, because everyone did have, not everyone, but a lot of people had family, including me. I had an uncle in one of the buildings, and it's just one of those things that sticks in my mind to this day.
In 9/11/2001, I was at my daughter's school. I don't remember what I was doing there, but I was at my daughter's school, maybe picking her up. I didn't work that day.
Yeah, actually, I was in second grade.
Okay.
So I was in school. My parents were the ones who were watching it on TV. And I have this vivid memory of everyone in my classroom getting called out for, getting taken home. And I stayed because we had to, we didn't know where all our family members were, and there was a lot of panic. So my parents thought that it was just going to be better to keep me in school where they knew where I was than to pick me up.
And how do you feel like you can help commemorate the victims who passed away on September 11th?
Yeah, I think part of it is just reading up on all the stories of the victims that even the photographer, I know the photographer that photographed the falling man, the famous photograph, and reading up on things like that and the stories kind of put things into perspective, especially when I was so young. I really like kind of honoring them that way. And I'm sure there will be tons of coverage tomorrow. So looking forward to reading all of that and and reading more about the victims and the heroes that helped during 9/11.
These 2 decades that have followed have just, I guess, splintered into so much strife, and the victims aren't, really the focal point anymore. So, in talking with, families, of victims, I think that's all, like, everyone seems to say that is what they want to get back to, is like focusing on the people that actually suffered, and to realize that, like, these were people from all over the world. It was not like, it was so much more than, sort of this national attack. It was attack on humanity.
Yeah.
I wish to honor them like every year whenever, if I have the time to do so, to come to the 9/11 memorial area and like to just give like a support, even if I cannot just speak with them also, but just be present here, and then yeah.
Being present and coming to the memorial, that's awesome.
I don't think you need some grand stand or anything. I think it's honestly sitting down with your family. I have a 3-year-old right now, so he's too young to really talk to about this, but in a year or so I plan to. I think the next point in all of this is you got to teach the young, you got to teach your children what happened and how to be better and what people went through. I mean, this is something that we all remember if you were alive then, and I think you got to talk to your family members and friends and just remember.
The reading of the names is paramount importance. Every person was a life, but it's beyond the reading of the names. That's the bigger message, not only to New York, but to the U.S., to the world, of just being more about humanity and less about all the stuff that we're getting bogged down with. It really brings a lot of clarity, and hopefully it'll bring people's focus and attention back a little bit to the humanity we had so magnified in those weeks and months and years even. We are all in New York,
Just remember, just keep doing what we're doing. Everyone remembering them, have the memorial. Just remember, don't forget. Don't forget what happened. It can happen again.
I think we should always remember who was lost here that day and elsewhere. But also, I think we can learn from it, and hopefully, the whole world was impacted by this, and it unfortunately had some very negative, real impacts for a lot of people around the world. And we shouldn't ever forget what happened here, but we should also try to get some positive, something positive from it. And hopefully that is happening, and hopefully it will continue to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just to remember and celebrate. I think I think they wouldn't want us to be sad.
Just to ask, since it's the 20th anniversary, are you going to do anything, or are there any thoughts that you'll think about on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm volunteering at the USS Intrepid Air and Space Museum. It's through work, so that'll be cool. Some colleagues and I are doing it together.
I'm going to probably just, think of my friend's mom. I'm down here today, so I'm glad that I got to do that for her.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Obviously, today's the 20th anniversary, so has that brought up any thoughts? What have you been thinking about today?
Yeah, I was kind of contemplating if I would come down or not from the Upper West Side, and I thought, it's something good to do. We should show support. We have so many differences in the country right now. This is the day we can get together, be as one, applaud our police and our firefighters and our military, and we should all be down here.
It was just I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I wanted to come over here and pay my respects.
Watch the footage. I mean, it hurts, but it's reality. You've got to live in reality so you can process the world properly. So yes, it's a horrible thing that happens. That's what should strike the chord to you, to spur you to action, to say, what can I do to make sure this never happens again? What can I do to help?
I want to thank all of the individuals who shared their sentiments with me over the last 3 days on a very difficult subject. If there's anything I've learned from this very profound experience, it's to remember 9/11. Don't forget it. Honor the victims in whatever meaningful way you can, and then go out and enjoy your life, because these innocent people don't have that opportunity anymore. And if you're able to, I'd encourage you to make a donation to the 9/11 Memorial. Thanks.